Katie and welcome back to my booktube channel. So today's video is my Halloween reading vlog, and basically I've been trying to read a book every day this month, so 31 books in 31 days, and they've all been really festive books, but I've only read 22 so far and it is day 25, so I have a lot to catch up on, and I decided I wanted to bring you guys along with me on this journey. So hopefully this is a fun vlog for you guys. I'm going to try to read as many books as possible, and I have 2 days off right now. I'm off Mondays and Tuesdays usually, so this is basically my weekend. So hopefully I can knock a bunch out over these 2 days and still read a couple more throughout the rest of the week. But these are the 2 stacks of books that I have left on my TBR. I probably will not read all of them. I think that's more books than I really have to read. But over here we have my stack of library books that I got, and again, I'm not sure which books I'm going to read next or which ones will be in this vlog, but I wanted to show you guys all of my options. So here is my library stack, and we have Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. I've heard amazing things. We have The Babysitter's Coven by Kate Williams. Beetle and the Hollow Bones by Eliza Lane. This is a graphic novel which looks super cute. I have, hopefully they don't fall. I have Malice by Heather Walter, which looks like a paranormal, spooky romance. So I thought this would be good to break up the fantasy. And I also have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. And then over here I have some of my books that I've owned for a little bit. Some of these are newer, but I wanted to try to get some off of my physical TBR as well because I have way too many books on my shelves that I have not read. And this first one is Afterlove by Tanya Byrne, and I got this in, I think, a Fairy Loot box, and I've never had heard of it before, but it looks really cute. It's about, I think, reapers. So it also is like a really cute female-female romance and also has like reapers in it. So that's super cute. I think it'll definitely break up some of these fantasies and like darker books as well. I have Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I've been really excited to pick this one up. This series looks so good, and I've really been loving mysteries this month. So I'm really excited to read this one at some point. I have Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. This one seems really creepy and kind of like a horror novel, so we'll see how that goes if I pick that one up. I've never really read horror before, so that also makes me nervous for Wilder Girls by Rory Power. This is essentially feels like a pandemic novel. It basically is like this plague that goes through this small town, like this all-girls school, and they have to be put under quarantine, so it kind of hits really close to home, so not sure how I feel about picking that one up either. I have A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. This is another one I got from a book box. I can't remember which one, but this one sounds super good. I think it's dark academia, so between this and Ninth House, I have a couple dark academia books on here, and I'm really excited to read some of them. And the last one on my TBR is The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten White. It's a pretty small book, but this one seems really scary. I'm very intimidated by it for some reason. I got it sometime last year, but it was after Halloween, so I wanted to wait to read it until now. And I am excited to pick it up. I feel like it's perfect for this time of year, but it's really, I don't know. There's something creepy about it. I feel like it's probably a horror book, so again, I don't really read horror, so maybe you guys will see me discover a new genre I love. We'll see. But I am not really sure which one I want to start with, honestly. I just read a couple books that had, witches in it, so I feel like I want to read something a little bit different than that. The last book I read was The Ravens, so that's, about a sorority of witches, which was so good, but I want something a little bit different. So I might go for dark academia, or I'm not really sure. So in this next clip, hopefully I will have finally picked, and you guys will see my initial thoughts on whatever book I decide. Okay, so I finally decided what book I'm going to read, and that is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. Also, you will probably notice I'm in a different outfit, and that is because I just got back from my brother's soccer game, and it was pouring the whole time. So I'm soaked and cold and probably look like a mess, but it was really nice to see my brother play. But I'm going to go curl up under a blanket after this because it is way too cold. But I wanted to update you guys on this. I did start this before going to the game, and I'm 170 pages in, so I think that's pretty much halfway through. And I'm really liking this so far. I can definitely see why people love this book so much. I didn't really expect it to have such a contemporary feel to it as well. Obviously, it's like a paranormal romance with, obviously, it's like a fantasy, and you definitely have a lot of that magic, and that part is really great, but also you have a ton of like contemporary issues as well. Our main character is a trans boy, and you get to see a lot of the things that he has to go through with his family and the people in his community not really, understanding the change that he went through, and they keep misgendering him and not really putting in the effort to make him feel accepted, and it honestly makes me so angry. There were like 2 instances in here that like I wanted to climb through the book and like hurt somebody, because I couldn't even imagine how heartbroken he felt in those moments, and I hated those moments so much. It's so heartbreaking to think that people will do that to somebody else, especially family members, and it made me really angry. If you've read it, you know what I mean. It's just, it breaks my heart. But I am loving the potential romance so far between Yadriel, I hope I'm saying his name right, and Julian. I love that. It seems so cute. Also, there's a great friendship. I can't remember her name right now because it's been a few hours since I've read this. It starts with an M. Maritza. She is so great. I love her friendship with Yadriel. They are so great to each other and so supportive, and I really love that element. But like I said, we have contemporary issues. I'm like all over the place. My brain is still frozen from the soccer game. But great contemporary issues mixed with this like magic and fantasy element, and also the family is Latinx. I really hope I'm saying that right. I am not very educated on that, but we get a lot of that culture as well, and all those things are meshed together so perfectly and blended really well, and I'm loving this. I am definitely seeing this as like a 4 or 5 star read so far, so I'm very excited to see how this goes, but I'm gonna go curl up under a blanket like I said. Okay guys, so ignore my messy hair. I'm sure I look like a mess. I'm sure I sound really tired because those things are true. But I finished Cemetery Boys. It's now like after midnight, I think. But I finally finished it and I gave it 5 stars. It's kind of like 4.5, 5-star read for me, but I really like it. I see why it's super hyped up. I feel like this is going to be one of my comfort reads. I feel like this is going to be one I go back to year after year during fall because it's really cool magic, and like the world building in that aspect is really, really interesting, and like the paranormal fantasy elements are so good. But then you also get these like really important like contemporary elements. I don't even know if that's the right word, but these elements that I feel like are relatable and educational, and I really loved those as well. And I feel like the way those topics are all meshed together is done so well. I've only read, I think, 1 book before this one with a trans main character, and I really enjoy reading books like that because I don't feel like I'm very well educated, and I feel like it's really important for me to read the experiences that trans people have to go through, like to experience the way that Yadriel feels when he is misgendered or when people use his dead name. It's so heartbreaking, and it really, I don't know, I feel like it helps me understand more because it's just not something I am informed enough about, and I really feel like it's important for me to read books like this, and I think it's important for other people to read books like this. It's just really, really well done. I loved every second of it. The romance was so cute. I was so invested in this romance, and like I said in like a previous clip, the friendship between Yadriel and Maritza, so good. I loved that they would do anything to protect each other, and I just really enjoyed this. So I feel like this is the perfect fall Halloween read, but definitely a 4.5, 5-star read for me. It's so good. And even though I'm exhausted, I am going to try really hard to read Beetle and the Hollow Bones by Eliza Lane before I go to bed. This is a graphic novel, so I feel like I will be able to fly through it pretty quickly. But like I said, I am very behind on my goals, so I'm going to try to finish this before going to sleep because it is the 25th of October. Well, I guess the 26th now, but we're going to pretend like it's still the 25th, even though it's after midnight. And this will be book 23 for me. So I really need to catch up a little bit more. But this seems like a pretty quick read. I mean, it just has, you know, a lot of pictures. It's a graphic novel. So this feels really cool. I am not really sure what this is about. I think it involves like a goblin and it seems like a ghost as well. Obviously it has something to do with like magic. It says something about like a sorceress. So I have no idea, but it looks really magical and pretty, and I think this is a middle grade graphic novel. So I should be able to fly through this. So I will let you guys know what my thoughts are. Hopefully I don't fall asleep in the middle of reading this one because that is definitely a possibility. Alright, you guys, so there is no way I'm finishing this before I fall asleep. I've been falling asleep between like every page. I am about halfway done. I'm not sure exactly how many pages this is or how far I am because there are no page numbers throughout the book. At least I haven't seen any, but I'm halfway done. I am enjoying it so far, but since I'm falling asleep, I don't feel like I'm getting the full experience because I keep having to reread pages and I kind of keep forgetting what's happening. But I am really enjoying it. I love that it involves like a sorceress and a goblin and also this little ghost that they call Blob Ghost or BG. And it's literally my favorite character so far just because the whole time Blob Ghost is just, because Blob Ghost can't talk. So it's just kind of going around with our goblin Beetle. I almost said Beetle, goblin. Sorry, I'm so tired, you guys. Okay, basically, update. I'm enjoying it so far. Don't really remember what's happening because I'm tired, but the illustration style is really interesting because the sorceress is like this like skeleton creature, and then obviously we know what a goblin looks like, but it's very interesting. It's like a much darker kind of illustration style. It uses all kinds of color schemes though, because like we'll have pages that are like, you know, warm colors, then we have cool colors, then we have one that has like pinks and purples. So I really like that it just uses all kinds of colors. It doesn't really have like a dark color scheme or a really light one. It just fits like whatever is happening in the story, and it's really beautiful. So I am enjoying it. I am just gonna go to bed and finish this in the morning because, like I said, I'm exhausted and I can't even form sentences. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I finished it. I woke up this morning, I ate a breakfast sandwich, and I literally dove right back in. I did have to reread part of the last section because, as you guys probably saw in my last clip, I was so tired and I was falling asleep while I was reading, so I honestly didn't remember like the last chunk of this book. So I had to reread that, but then I flew through the rest of this and I gave this 4 stars. It's so cute. Blob Ghost is probably my favorite character in a graphic novel I've ever seen. Also, he's like the cutest character I've ever read about, like in general. He is so sweet. I want to see if I can find some pictures of him because he's literally the cutest. And of course now I can't find any, but he just wants to have a friend and be loved, and he's so cute. I was so emotionally attached to him. I can't find a picture of him, but he's right here. He is like the sweetest little character ever. And he definitely was like my favorite part of this, but also just the illustrations were so like bright and exciting, and they like drew me in. It was so good, and I loved the magic in here. I loved reading about a goblin because I've never had a book with a goblin in it before. And I think it's so cool to see how like they interact in like the magical world. And there's also like a sorceress, and there's a lot more action in here than I was expecting, and it was a lot more like intricate and intense than I was expecting because It says it's for ages 8 to 12, so I thought it would just be like a super easy book to understand, and it definitely is still good for that age range. I feel like it is easy to understand, but it definitely was a lot more complex than I was expecting, so I feel like there's something for everyone if you're looking for a fun, festive read during fall and Halloween. I feel like anybody can read this book. It's so cute, and I don't know, even like the colors on the back, I just love it. So yes, I gave this one 4 stars, and this was really easy to help me like get closer to, that was not English. And this was a very easy read to help me get closer to the amount of books I'm supposed to have read at this time. I've now read 24 books, and it is currently the 26th. So we are getting closer, and my next read is going to be The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten White. And I've had this book for a while. I think it's been like about, I guess it's been about a year, but I was saving it for Halloween, so I feel like now is the perfect time to read this, and it's honestly pretty small. It's less than 300 pages, which is very tiny for me. Typically, I read at least like 350, 400 page books, so I am excited to get into this. It is horror, and I've never read a horror book before, so I'm kind of scared, and it sounds like super dark, so we'll see how this goes. Good thing is, it is like the early afternoon, so it's not like it's dark outside and scary to like add to the effect of this, so I shouldn't be too scared, but I'm not really sure what to expect, so I'm excited to bring you guys along on this journey. And also, before I read that, I wanted to show you guys, I've decided to try to make my own reading journal for 2022 because currently I'm using just this reading journal I got from one of my book boxes, and you know, there's spots for book reviews, there's like weekly pages. I don't know if you guys can see this. But I really enjoyed this, and this was a really easy way for me to keep track of my reading because last year I didn't have anything like this, and I really just used Goodreads, but it was a lot harder for me to like physically see like the books I'm reading, what's on my TBR, that kind of stuff. So I really liked having a reading journal this year, and I wanted to make my own, but instead of just getting like a bullet journal, because it stresses me out to try to figure out the order of all the pages I wanted and all of that kind of stuff. I'm like too much of a perfectionist, so I needed a different plan. So I got this really cute like 6-ring binder, and I really like this because I bought these like page refills, which are just like bullet journal pages, but I'm basically going to be able to like, you know, switch around the order of pages as I want. If I mess up, I can just get a different page. Like, it's not a big deal. It takes a lot of stress off of like making this journal. And so I'm really excited, and I'm excited to be doing it this way. These pages are a lot smaller than I was expecting though. So like the page is only this big compared to this page that I've been working with. So it will be a challenge to make it fit on this tiny page, but I am excited to be doing this, and I have way too many ideas, like so many ideas. So if you guys would be interested in watching me plan out like a monthly spread for a bullet journal, or just to get like a tour of my little like reading bullet journal, let me know. I would love to make a video like that for you guys because I am very excited to be doing this. Okay, so I am done with part 1. I'm like 125 pages in, and I'm not sure how I'm feeling right now. This was a lot harder to get through than I was expecting. It's like really slow paced, at least by my standards. I usually prefer books with a lot of action, or you know, books that are very romance heavy, and this is neither, so it's been kind of hard for me to get through. It is interesting, like the historical fiction element, and there are a ton of flashbacks, so it is pretty interesting to see what's happening currently, and also the beginning of the relationship between Victor and Elizabeth. So that part is kind of nice. I feel like there are more flashbacks than I would have liked, but it's getting kind of interesting. I'm definitely intrigued. It's just different than I was expecting. I thought that this would be like super like thrilling and captivating, and that I wouldn't be able to put it down, but so far that's not really how I'm feeling. There are some very disturbing parts so far, so that part is true to what I was expecting, but that's really about it. I am definitely struggling more than I was expecting, but I'm hoping that this next section really picks up and is a little bit more interesting, because up to this point we didn't really see too much of Victor and Elizabeth together in the present. So I feel like once we start to get more scenes of them currently, maybe that will be when I get a little bit more invested. But right now, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's probably like a 3-star read for me, maybe less, just by my personal preferences. So that's where I'm at. Hopefully the next time I see you guys, I will have some more positive things to say about it. But yeah, I will see you guys in a little bit. I wanted to update you guys on where I'm at in this book before I went on a date with my fiance. But I just finished part 2, so I'm 185 pages in, and it's definitely more interesting. I feel like I'm getting used to the setting and the characters. It's definitely very dark. I don't think I've been scared. I felt like with horror it would get like really, really scary. And it's definitely like disturbing, creepy, all of those things, but I haven't been like scared yet. So I'm hoping this last part will give me some of those emotions. But all I really have figured out since then is that Victor is very disturbing, like, and obsessive. He is such an interesting character because I feel like he's not very in tune with his emotions, and he's very like cold and calculated and crazy, um, for lack of a better term. But that's really the only thing I have realized since reading this last part. Elizabeth has been through a lot, and definitely some sad things happen in that section. But that's really it. I am a little bit more invested. I'm still feeling like this is a 3-star read for me. Sorry, these thoughts aren't very exciting. I'm not really sure how I feel about this story because I've never read horror before and it's not what I was expecting. So I'm just a little confused, but I'm definitely getting a better feel for it, and I think that I will be able to finish it pretty easily after my date night. I don't really know what we're doing. I know that we're gonna go get some food, so that's always good. And I'm gonna stop at the library because I put Verity by Colleen Hoover on hold, and it was supposed to take a really long time for me to ever get it. I was like 84th in line, but within like a few weeks, I was able to pick it up. So I'm gonna go get it today, and maybe you guys will see me read it in this vlog. Maybe it'll be something I save for November. I'm not sure yet, but I'm very excited. I love Colleen Hoover, so I'm excited to pick up another one of her books. Sorry for the weird lighting. I'm too lazy to get up and turn on a different light, but I did go out on the date with my fiance. I know I'm wearing the same outfit, so it's hard to tell, but I'm just back in my pajamas because it is like almost 1 in the morning right now. I didn't really get too much reading done for the rest of today, but I did finish The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein, and the 3rd part is definitely the best part in my opinion. It definitely had all of like the horror and disturbing elements like amplified. It was the creepiest part. It was the most interesting part to me. So it definitely improved throughout the second half of the book. I know I said the first half was really slow and hard to get through, and that was true, but I feel like the second half of the book kind of redeemed it. I still only gave it 3 stars because I probably would only recommend this book to certain people, so that usually means it's a 3-star book for me, but it was pretty okay. I really thought it would be a lot scarier, and it definitely had its moments because Victor is probably the most demented, like screwed up character I've ever read about. So it's definitely spooky, but it wasn't as like really, that was not English. It wasn't as scary as I was really expecting, but 3-star read. And before I go to bed, because I have to work in the morning, I decided to pick out which book I'm going to start tomorrow at work, and I picked Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is one that I've been looking forward to reading for a very long time, and I'm excited to dive into a mystery after such like a weird horror read for me. But this is like mystery, dark academia, and it also says it has like a dash of romance. At least one of like the little blurbs on the back says that. So I'm excited to have a romance to root for because the one in Elizabeth Frankenstein was very creepy, so I could not root for that. So I am excited for this one. I know it's very popular, and I feel like it's a trilogy. I can't remember. It's either it has 3 books or 4 books. So I'm excited to find another series for me to enjoy. And also, I don't know, this cover just makes me really happy. I feel like it screams fall between like just all of the leaves and everything. It just looks very like fun and festive. So I'm very excited to read this one, and I will see you guys tomorrow with some of my initial thoughts. I just got off work and I wanted to give you a little update on where I'm at with Truly Devious. I am now 130 pages in, and I'm honestly really liking it. I like the whole like ambiance of the story. It definitely feels very fall and kind of spooky, even though nothing too scary has happened yet. And I'm just really enjoying like the mystery of it, because if you guys don't know what this book's about, I can't remember what all I told you yesterday, but this takes place at Ellingham Academy. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And basically this academy was created in like the early 20th century for people that are not like advanced learners, but they learn a little differently than everybody else, so they might be like bored at a normal school. So they go to this academy in Vermont and they're more challenged. They get to focus on whatever they want to be learning. And at this academy, right after it was built, the founder's wife and daughter were kidnapped essentially, and nobody still to this day really knows what happened to them. And I mean, like, people have been interviewed and all that stuff, but and I guess they found a suspect, but still our main character Stevie in like modern day is still determined to kind of crack the case and figure out what really happened back then. And she is currently going to the academy, and it definitely has like dark academia vibes, which I am loving. It's like kind of creepy and spooky, but like not like a horror. I don't know if I'm explaining that well. I'm still getting a feel for the story. I'm only like 130 pages in, but like I said, I really love the vibe, and I'm really enjoying the way that the story is being told, because basically like halfway through the chapter you get a flashback and you get to experience what was happening at the academy when the wife and daughter were kidnapped and everything that happened with that case. And then you also get present day, where we have Stevie trying to dig a little deeper, and it's really cool because she's able to like observe things about people that she's just met that they don't ever tell her, but she's able to like notice things about them and things that they say and do, and she's able to like make decisions based on that. I don't know if that made any sense, but she reminds me kind of Thomas from Stalking Jack the Ripper, because he was also able to just look at somebody and like what they were wearing or the things that they said and know like where they came from, what kind of things they do with their spare time, and she kind of reminds me of that as well. So I really love characters like that because they really make me think a lot more than a typical main character does, and it's really fun. I'm really excited to try to figure out this mystery right along Stevie, and we also are meeting a lot of other characters for like the other students that are at the academy, so I'm interested to see which ones we end up really liking and which ones we end up not really trusting. Hi, it has been over 24 hours since I saw you last. I did absolutely no reading after I updated everybody yesterday. I was really excited because I went shopping and got stuff for my book bullet journal that I'm planning on making, so I got really focused on trying to plan that out and did not get any further in my book, which is not really helping my reading goal. But I did end up finishing Truly Devious today, and I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed the mystery element. I loved the dual timelines because I feel like sometimes in books, the flashbacks kind of make it more confusing because you're introduced to a whole new set of characters, but it's done really well because everything that you're given in the flashbacks is kind of supposed to help you solve the mystery right alongside Stevie, who is our main character. So everything that we were given was really necessary to the plot. So I ended up really enjoying that. And Stevie is such an interesting character because she is so calculated and reserved, and she is really focused on like observing things about people, and she's really quick at figuring things out. So I thought she was really fun to read about. Like, her perspective on life is just really interesting to me because that's not really how I perceive certain situations. And also, she is dealing with anxiety, so I feel like that's really relatable and great representation. She has some panic attacks in here, and I really enjoy when characters have different things like that they're dealing with, different mental health things, because I feel like it's not talked about enough, and I always appreciate when a character is relatable in that way. Overall, I just really enjoyed the mystery element because I still don't know who did it, and I still don't really know the answer to the case. Even though we did figure out a lot throughout this book, there's still so many unanswered questions, which is great because it's a trilogy, so it really leaves you wanting more. And this ended with like the ultimate cliffhanger. I'm still a little bit confused and also really intrigued, so I'm very interested to see how it goes. And also, there is a touch of romance in here, which I was not expecting, but I'm really not sure how I feel about it. I want to like it, but I don't really trust it yet. So I'm excited to see in the future books in this trilogy if I can start rooting for the romance or if my instinct was right and I can't trust it. So I definitely will be picking up the next book. This is super interesting, and I had a great time reading this, honestly. But that is the last book I'm going to be reading in this vlog. I hope you guys had a great time coming along with me. I feel like this vlog was kind of all over the place because I'm a little frazzled trying to get all of these books done and also plan next month's videos and do my bullet journal and all that stuff. So I'm definitely a little frazzled, but hopefully this vlog was still really good for you guys. I did manage to read 4 books. I don't know why I can't talk right now, but we got through Cemetery Boys, Beetle and the Hollow Bones, The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein, and Truly Devious. And for the most part, I really enjoyed all of these. So I feel like this was very successful. I am now done with 26 books, but it is the 28th, so I'm still behind. I'm not sure I'm going to make my goal, but this is still the most books I've ever read in a month, so I still feel really good about it. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I would genuinely really appreciate it. And if you do subscribe, please click the notification bell so you know when I upload next. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in my next video.